Hey, this is Notser, and today's video we're taking a look at 8.0 public test server. This is phase 1, and I'm testing the light cruiser, the tier 10 British cruiser, Minotaur. We're on the map Two Brothers, and this is an AA build. You can see the build on the screen. This is involving the manual AA skill. Now, manual AA, if you're not familiar, it used to double the damage of your long range. So 85 millimeters or higher would do double damage. That was incredibly beneficial, but you did have to manually select the aircraft. Now, what the system does is you have sectors that you can enhance, and to bring up that sector screen, you press the tilde key. Oh yeah, and by the way, it didn't draw the triangle if you saw my gearing video. Some of my games I was running into torpedoes that weren't activated, running into some that were, and I didn't have any feedback whatsoever. I think it's just an oversight at this point. But you'll note that the sector system. So the sector system is accessed with tilde key or O, and you can obviously assign which sector you want to have enhanced AA defense. And obviously the sector goes on the screen. I have the same complaints as I did with my Montana. It just covers up your screen and it takes away from every other action that you're trying to do. It also conceals your success or lack of success in a game by covering up your damage done, your ribbons, the number of ships taken out, or even the capture progress. I don't like that. I don't think I'll ever like it, and you're going to see in this example a more active sector management from a cruiser. You know, cruisers should absolutely be able to do this, but it's just so weird how it just covers the whole screen, and I have to click on the sector itself to assign. Anyone who's confused, you can also deassign the sector by just selecting the sector again. You might have noticed that it just disables that assignment, and it goes back to 100% by default on both sides. But it's just a system that it has potential. I remember playing flight sims back in the day, and you could manage your energy shields and which shield was protected and which wasn't. I would love that same sort of management. I would love that it would be incorporated in the game more, though, and I would also like to see it actually be effective. You know, it actually is fun. Maybe manual AA transforms into something more useful for the player. Like, maybe the default sector system is very passive and very ineffective. But if I, as a player, were to invest 4 points in that manual AA system, maybe it gives me immediate control of the sector. Perhaps it does that little UI trick where it is using the compass primarily. I don't know why I need the entire screen to tell me about my port, my starboard, and the ship itself. It seems like the compass is completely adequate for this, and yet it's covering the screen every single time I'm looking to do anything. I have to consider always the enemy aircraft because they have unlimited. So if it's going to be something that's always there for me to manage, why isn't it better incorporated in the game, Wargaming? Just feels weird, right? It feels really weird. So we take out that bot. I don't know what that bot was thinking. And I'm feeling like, could I go down the center? No, that would not be good. Now, I mentioned this in my gearing game. They introduced line of sight to the aircraft and also to your AA. You're not going to have this situation where the AA shoots through an island and the enemy aircraft is spotting you through that same island. That doesn't exist any longer. So going down this Two Brothers narrow trench might be suicidal if I'm attempting to try and shoot down aircraft that could be spotting for this Conqueror, right? I just want to reiterate, because I don't know how many people have watched all the other videos, AA no longer gets range extended. So what you see from a Minotaur standpoint is the absolute maximum range you can expect in 8.0, in 8.1, and 8.2, unless they implement a completely new change. This is it. So the Minotaur is really hamstrung in that regard because it normally had the ability to do exactly what the Worcester could do. It could outrange its air spotting, and it could punish aircraft for that. You can't do that anymore. That's not a part of your strategy. What should be a part of your strategy is limiting the area where the enemy could punish, and I'm not going down the center. That's suicidal. Now, from a game standpoint, obviously, we wipe out the bots pretty easily. I did think that there might be a Shima up here, and now I don't have radar. And, you know, I've shared in the past that I felt like smoke was outdated. Well, smoke is back, and smoke is back because of one thing, the aircraft carrier. You need smoke to deny them the ability to attack you. Now, yes, you know, it's a Minotaur. Theoretically, it should be able to completely protect itself, but the way the AA is designed, it's supposed to do chip damage to not only the aircraft, but also chip damage back to you. And I appreciate that, but I need to guarantee that I'm not going to take damage sometimes. So I went with the smoke, and because of that, I'm going to be in a weird spot where I can't spot the enemy Shima. And I'm trying to kill the enemy Worcester while knowing full well that there is a risk of a Shima, so I use my Hydro defensively. Oh great, a Cyclone, just what I always want to test the aircraft against a Cyclone. Thankfully, the game doesn't get to that point, but I really haven't tested the Cyclone mechanic in 8.0. In 7.12 and prior, they could obviously fly around the map and be almost unspotted and wipe out targets left and right. The aircraft carrier felt really weird with a Cyclone in mind. I mean, they wouldn't be able to fly in real life. They'd probably have to just chalk it up to a no-fly weather and just move on. But in the game, I think it's an advantage. I think it's a continued advantage, and I think that's a part of it. I just haven't had a really good chance to test it. Now we're going to get a little bit of a window. I'm just going to stop going after this. I don't really care. I don't learn anything from firing on targets that I fire on all the time. I learn things from having a scenario that involves an aircraft carrier and having to consider that. That's what I'm looking to do. So, enemy Republic, he's trying to defend his base. I'm trying not to allow him to defend his base. Definitely going to fire on me and definitely trying to angle from the incoming. But we're able to do pretty well, able to heal back up, and I'm using my smoke defensively. Now this is for twofolds. Obviously the smoke is good against the Republic, but also the enemy aircraft carrier hadn't seen his squadron in a while, and it looks like he is focusing on my friendly midway. Now, you know, prior to this automatic defensive fighters and damage control, yeah, that would be a great play, but now it's a waste. There's really no way, and oh, of course, friendly has his little tiny torpedoes come through just as an enemy Des Moines, absolutely engaging me. But he's outside of detectability, so I'm pretty safe. I do feel like there's a risk of aircraft, and the last known position of the aircraft, oh, he took out the friendly midway. I do feel like the enemy aircraft carrier, he should have a squadron ready to go. He doesn't have to wait for the squadrons to come back. He does the attack, and then immediately he can select a different squadron and send it out to attack. So I am very concerned that, yep, here he comes. I'm going to set my sector up on the right side. This is a attack rocket. That's what that icon means, that sort of circle with the diagonal arrows on the four corners. Pretty successful attack, right? Yeah. And then he has his friendly fighters overhead trying to deny any and all protection. I am still trying to have the sector, and just look how weird this is. It just covers the entire screen, and I want it to be something I want to do, but why is it forcing me to cover my whole screen? I don't understand this decision. And also note, I'm too close to the island, so the AA can't even fire, so I have to use the port side. And once again, we're switching the sector. It takes 7.5 seconds. It's still switching, still switching. Finally, it switches. It's something that has potential, but the implementation does not. It's too slow, it's too sluggish. You know, there's almost a downside to switching. And I don't want that to be the case. I want there to feel like I have more direct control over the outcome. And, you know, Wargaming, I'm sure you're like, well, you know, this is first testing, all that stuff. There's people that are already writing this off. It's already done to them. You know, this is the version we're getting, and we're stuck with it. But I'm not giving up. Not yet, at least. I intend to fight to make sure that this can be as fun as possible. Oh man, the brutal island ramming that's going on right now. Oh, my smoke, it's just not adequate. I need my smoke, it just came off a cooldown. I'm trying to sail forward because I know what's happening. Incoming attack. Have no idea that they were there in the water, by the way. None. There's just so many things wrong that it's really hard to look at this and go, oh yeah, I want that. Oh, finally the Doritos show up, by the way. It's so weird. It's so weird how aircraft that are flying over the smoke are still concealed, and they do a drop that, I mean, almost for them was more effective than the smoke itself for me. Like, why is the smoke concealing the aircraft carrier's drop so effectively? It's almost as if the smoke helped the aircraft carrier more than it helped myself. And it concealed those torpedoes, and it was completely frustrating. So, if I have one critique across all of these different videos I've posted over the last couple of days, you've got to clarify the readability of the game. It has to have something that the player can go off of and create that sort of skillful play that we're so desperate for. And it's just not there right now. The sectors are too big and bulky and awkwardness. It doesn't feel like it should be the AA system itself. It just is too passive and not active at all. Just complete opposite of what I was looking for. And then when I was actively switching the sectors, it felt like I didn't get enough benefit from it. So I just want more feedback. I want the AA systems themselves to feel worth the investment. And I just want it to be more fun. I want it to be a more action counterplay design. And we're not getting that right now, but maybe we can in the future. I hope these games were interesting. I can cover the aircraft carrier as well, but I'm on vacation. Leave in the comments what you think, cruiser, light cruiser, everything. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.